we're going live. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, whether you're on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, or even on Twitter. It's such a honor to come your way today. Thank you for joining me. I do not take it for granted. I don't take it for granted at all. So, like I will always say, please like the video, share it, pass your comments, give me your feedback. Let me know how you feel about the program. It's always a joy to come your way. And I'm continuing in the review of this book, The Science of Getting Rich. Thank you to all of you that have gone to pick up the book. I've gotten feedbacks. Oh, Yomi, I have the book already. Oh, yes, I've gotten it on YouTube and I'm listening to it. It's such a powerful book. It's small, but I've taken time to review it over 4 weeks. So this is the third week we are looking at this same book, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D Wattles, the proven mental program to a life of wealth. And so that's what we are continuing on today. So 2 weeks ago, we started with the book and with the question, is there a science? First and foremost, the first question is the right to be rich. Do you really have a right to be rich? Or is riches for a select few? And that was what we started on with. And we concluded that we have a right to be rich. And then the next question is there a science to getting rich? Is there something like that? That if it's not a function of environment, if not it's a function of your circumstance, then there is a science to getting rich. And we concluded that indeed there is a science to getting rich. In chapter 3, the question was, is opportunity monopolized? And again, we looked at it critically and we concluded in chapter 3 to say, no, opportunity is not monopolized. In fact, you are not kept poor by lack in the supply of riches. So if you are poor, it's either by choice or by ignorance. And in chapter 4, finally, we looked at the very first principle of getting rich, the very first one, and it's about your thought. It says we live in a thought world, and we recalled Proverbs 23:7 that says, as a man thinks in his heart, so he is. So we went through the issue about your thought pattern, how you think. And he said something that is so critical, that the fact is not the truth. The fact is not the truth. And that was where that was on chapter, so I'm increasing some volume for those on Facebook in case they can't hear me. Okay, so the fact is not the truth, and we looked at that in chapter 5. We got to talking about increasing life, and that was where we started last week, Thursday. Increasing life in chapter 5, and in chapter 6 we answered the question, how does riches come to you? But one of the things I liked in his opening comment is the fact that you do not have to get something for nothing, and that you can give to every man more than you take from him. In fact, in his words, you should give more in use value than you collected in cash value. And he kept emphasizing on the fact that life is not about competition. So you're not in competition with anybody. You are uniquely you, and all that you need is available. It explained the fact that your riches doesn't have to come from another person's riches. So the fact that you have already bought a car does not deny me of the ability to buy a car. The fact that you've built a house in the choice area of Florida does not deny me the ability to build a house in another choice area in Florida. So there is no need to envy. There is absolutely no need to envy. And in chapter 7, it talked about gratitude. Gratitude, thanking God for what you already have. Because it says faith is born of gratitude, and the grateful mind continually expects good things, and expectation becomes faith. A grateful heart continually expects good things, and expectation breeds faith. So we ended up in chapter 8. No, I think we stopped in chapter 7, talking about gratitude. Yes, we stopped in chapter 7. So today we are doing 8, 9, 10. No, we did chapter 8 last week. No, we did. We chapter 8 last week. Thinking in a certain way. I just remembered we did it. Thinking in a certain way. And that purpose must be defined. So, yes, we did chapter 8 last week. I'm talking about purpose must be defined. And it says, you can never get rich or start the creative power into action by sending out uninformed longings and vague ideas. So you must answer the question, what do you want? And in fact, why do you want it? Why do you want to get rich? To show everybody that, oh, I've arrived. I drive the latest 2022 series of Maserati. No, question, why do you want to get rich? And says, if you're not trying to get rich to improve humanity, then you have not started. So we rounded off in chapter 8 by saying that mind, however, that you do not do this as a mere dreamer. You don't practice the things taught in these books as a mere dreamer or a castle builder. Hold to the faith that the imaginary is being realized and to the purpose to realize it. So today we're in chapter 9 and we've been taking 4 chapters at a time. So we're going to do 9, 10, 11, and 12 today. And starts from saying, how do you use your will? Remember, he had talked about the will. So how do you use the will? To set about getting rich in a scientific way, you do not try to apply your willpower to anything outside yourself. In other words, don't try to manipulate anybody. It talks very strongly against manipulation. And I just heard the Bible say it's like the sin of witchcraft. So, and you're not a witch and you don't plan to become one. So you're not going to manipulate anybody. Don't use your willpower on another. Don't try to control another person. Use your willpower on yourself. It says you have no right to use your willpower upon another person, even if it is for the person's good. You don't have a right. You do not have to compel God to give you things any more than you have to use your willpower to make the sun rise. Did you hear that? You do not have to compel God to give you things any more than you need to use your willpower to make the sun rise. Did you have to pray, fast, and use your will for the sun to rise? Of course not. The sun rose this morning. And if you're in the evening where you are, it's set because God wants it so. So it's saying to you, God wants you rich. So you're not trying to convince God to make you rich. You're not trying to tell God to please or beg him or coerce him to make you rich. He actually wants to show you forth to the world as a choice person because of the way you are able to express him to your world. And you cannot properly express God if you are not rich. He said to get rich, you will only use your willpower on one person. And guess who that one person is? You. Just look into the mirror and you will see that one person you need to use your willpower on. It says, when you know what to think and do, then you must will yourself to think and do the right things. That's where you need your willpower. Paul says sometimes the things I ought to do, I somehow just don't do them. So that's where you need your will. So this thing I know I should, and I have to do it. That's where you need to use your willpower. To guide against procrastination, that's where you need to use your willpower. I recall I was talking to a friend of mine about 2 weeks ago, and I said, I haven't been doing my work recently. And he says, why? I said, actually, there's no reason. But guess what? I will start on Monday. And he says, why wait for Monday? Start tomorrow. So I had to tell myself, so you are starting tomorrow. That's where you need your will. You need to use your willpower to drive yourself to activity, no other person. So use your will to keep yourself thinking and acting in the certain way. Doubt or unbelief is as certain to start you moving away from starts a movement away from you, as faith and purpose starts one towards you. So when you have faith and purpose, you attract things to yourself. When you have doubt and unbelief, you push the right things away from yourself. So you need to use your will to keep yourself in faith, not on any other person. You use your will, you determine what you want, you use your will to fix your attention on what you want. Remember, he spoke extensively about the way you think. And he said something that was clear. He said, thinking right is a lot of work, is laborious. So if thinking right is laborious, then you need to use your willpower to ensure that you think right. So things are not brought into being that by thinking about their opposites. So if you want to become rich, you must not make a study of poverty. You don't need to study poverty if you want to get rich. You want to get rich? Study. Think about how to become rich, not how is it to be poor? You're not trying to be poor, are you? So why will you fill your mind with poverty? Remember, as a man thinks in his heart, so he is. So if you are thinking poverty, don't expect riches. It says you cannot be healthy by thinking about disease. You cannot be rich by thinking about poverty. You cannot be righteous by thinking about sin. Whatever you think on that dominates your thought pattern, that is what you become. So do not talk about poverty. Do not investigate it or concern yourself with it. Never mind what its causes are. You have nothing to do with them. What concerns you is the cure for poverty, which is riches. So don't even think, how do you get poor? Why are you poor? It's not your business. You face your front, mind your business, getting rich. It says, get rich. That is the best way you can help the poor. And it says something here that caught my attention. It said the poor do not need charity. What do they need? Inspiration. I agree. The Bible says, Jesus was talking, said, the poor you always have with you. But question, did he put your name? So why should you be the poor person? And if there's a poor person around you, they don't need pity. They don't even need charity. What do they need? Inspiration to let them know they don't have to die poor. Easy way out, send them a link to this video, direct them to this Facebook page and the YouTube page, help them to subscribe to this channel. And every day as they hear, the more they hear, the more faith arises in them and the more they become. People must be taught to become rich by creation and not by competition. It talks extensively in this book about competition. You don't need to compete with anybody. You are you, you are uniquely you. Every man who becomes rich by competition throws down behind him the ladder by which he rises and keeps others down. But every man who gets rich by creation opens a way for thousands to follow him and inspires them to do it. So, think wealth, think riches. And it closes chapter 9 by saying, use your willpower to keep your mind off the subject of poverty and to keep it fixed with faith and purpose on the vision of what you want. So it went further in chapter 10, talk about the further use of the will. And I want to read a paragraph there to you in chapter 10. It says, do not tell of your past troubles of a financial nature if you have had them. And it's so easy to be in this space. So you are once rich and then life happened and things turned sour. And every day you are reliving it. When I was rich, when I was healed, when I was strong, when I was, leave it behind. It says, don't tell of your past troubles of a financial nature if you have had it. Don't think of them at all. Do not tell of the poverty of your parents. Yes, they were poor, but don't tell the story or the hardships of your early life. To do any of these things is to mentally class yourself with the poor for the time being and to certainly check the movement of things in your direction. Like Jesus said, he said, let the dead bury their dead. What's it saying here? Faith comes by hearing. So the more you say, the more faith is built. So faith comes by hearing. What you say, you will hear. What you hear, you will expect. And what you expect, you will get. It says, put poverty and all the things that pertain to poverty completely behind you. Put them behind you and don't look back at them. It says the world is not going to the devil. So don't get lost in that thought. Everything is spiraling down. The devil is taking over. The devil is not taking over. God is absolutely and comfortably in control. It says the world is not going to the devil, it is going to God. So you should interest yourself in the world becoming rich. You should interest yourself in the world becoming rich. The only way you can assist the world in growing rich is by growing rich yourself through creative methods and not competitive one. Give yourself attention wholly to riches and ignore poverty. Whenever you think or speak of those who are poor, think and speak of them as those who are becoming rich. See them from the eye of faith that they are becoming rich. To become rich is the noblest aim you can have in life, for it includes everything else. If you have money, everything else follows you. Remember at the beginning where I had said that the only thing God compares with himself is money. So you cannot serve God and mammon. So it's good for you to get rich. It solves a lot. It says money answers all things. Money answers all things. And so we're still going on in that same chapter. So the very best thing you can do for the whole world is to make the most of yourself. The very best thing you can do for the whole world is what? To make the best, to make the most of yourself. You can serve God and man in no more effective way than by getting rich. If you get rich by the creative method, then you are serving God and the entire world. And I love something it says here, and I want to read this chapter, and I'm already laughing ahead of time. It said, read only optimistic comments on the world news, those in harmony with your picture. Postpone your investigation into the occult. Don't dabble into theosophy, spiritualism, or kindred stories. It is very likely that the dead may still be alive and they are near, but if they are, let them alone and mind your own business. They are gone from the world where you are in. Why do you want to bother your head about them? Let them go and do what? Mind your own business. Tell yourself, I will mind my business. And that is how he closed chapter 10. In chapter 11, he talked about acting in a certain way. Remember, talking about thinking, about what you believe, and how you do things. And he talked about acting in a certain way. And I love this. So you must not rely on thoughts alone. So don't think that when you think right and you can just hold on the thought of riches for enough time, you will get rich. He said, no. Don't rely on thoughts alone. Pay attention to personal action as well. So that is the rock upon which many scientific metaphysical thinkers meet shipwreck. The failure to connect thought with personal action. And when I got to this, I remember the scriptures in James 2:18. It says, and I think I want to cut it from the Passion Translation. So somebody might object and say, one person has faith, another person has works. Go ahead then and prove to me that you have faith without works, and I will show you my faith by my works as proof that I believe. Your works is the proof. You cannot get rich without action. You cannot get rich without action. It says your personal action must supplement your thoughts. He gave an example. By thought, you can cause the gold in the heart of the mountain to be impelled towards you, but that gold will not mine itself. So by thinking, you might get access to the gold mine, but guess what? You have to roll up your sleeves, dig and mine the gold, because the gold will not mine itself. The gold will not refine itself. It will not become a coin itself. It will not roll along the roads and come into your pocket, you have work to do. So arrange your own business affairs so that you can receive the riches when they come. Remember, money is currency, it flows. And what is money? It's a means of exchange. So, how does money come to you? By you exchanging it for something. But he said to you, don't be competitive and always be ready to give in use value than what you get in cash value. Always add value to your clients and customers, but you must have something to exchange. You must have something to exchange. You must have something to exchange. Said you must act in a certain way so you can appropriate what is yours when it comes to you. When things come to you, they'll be in the hands of other men who will ask an equivalent for them. When things come to you, they will be in the hands of other men that will have ask for something in exchange for them. Money is a means of exchange. If money begins to fall now from the sky, please don't bend down to pick it. It's counterfeit. Money comes through exchange for a good or service. So you can only get what is yours by giving the other man what is his. You can only get what is yours by giving the other man what is his. So, by thought, the thing you want is brought to you, but by action, you receive it. You must be ready to act in a certain way. I can go on and on about this particular chapter. It says, don't bother as to whether yesterday's work was well done or ill done. Today's work, do it well. Don't live in the past. So, yesterday you made a mistake. Oh, such a grave mistake. Don't sit down beating yourself. Yesterday is gone, like a songwriter said. So, move on. Leave the past in the past. And it says, yes, leave the past in the past, but also leave the future for the future. Don't try to do tomorrow's work today. There'll be plenty of time to do it when you get to it. He went on to say, do not try by occult or mystical means to act on people or things that are outside your reach. Don't manipulate. You don't need to manipulate. You don't need to cheat. You don't need to steal to get money. Remember, God wants you rich. It says, don't wait for a change of environment before you act. Get a change of environment by your actions. So hold with faith and purpose the vision of yourself in the better environment, but act upon your present environment with all your heart, with all your strength, and with all your might. Many times we are waiting for the thing to get better before we give in our best. It will never get better until you give your best. So start from now to give it your best. Start from now. If you're engaged in some business and you feel that it's not the right one for you, do not wait until you get into the right business before you begin to act. So, yes, you think this business is not the right business for you. I agree with you. But in that business, even though you think it's not the right one, do it with all your might. So, you are in a job I don't think is the right one, but you took that job to keep body and soul alive. Even there, give it your best. Don't wait until you get that dream job to do it right. Do it right even now. Use your present business as the means of getting a better one. Use your present environment as the means of getting into a better one. Hold the vision of yourself in the job you want while you act with faith and purpose on the job you have. Wow, I need to read that again. It says, hold the vision of yourself in the job you want while you act with faith and purpose on the job you have. And then you will certainly get the job that you want. Hold it, hold your thoughts there. And finally, for today, chapter 12, efficient action. It says, you must use your thought as directed in the previous chapter and begin to do what you can do where you are. You must do all that you can do where you are. Don't wait for the conditions to be right. Act now and the conditions will be right. Don't wait to get that job. Efficient action. So you can only advance by being larger than your present place. No man is larger than his present place who leaves undone any of the work pertaining to that place. And that is key. So, oh well, I know within me I should be the chief accountant of this place, but now I'm an account clerk. Don't worry, I won't, let me not waste my energy now. When I become the chief accountant, then I'll put it in. If you don't use your energy now, you will never get it. So the time to use your energy right is now. It is now. So the world is advanced only by those who more than fill their present places. So right now, be your best. Your getting rich depends upon you applying this principle to your own affairs. And it says this: every day is either a successful day or a day of failure. And the successful days which get you what you want. If every day is a failure, you can never be rich. It says, so do every day all that can be done in that day. You are not to overwork, not to rush blindly into your business in the effort to do the greatest possible number of things in the shortest possible time. You are not to try to do tomorrow's work today, nor do a week's work in a day. So it does not really matter the number of things you do, but the efficiency of each separate action that counts. So don't just rush through the work and just you are done and you are gone. No, give it your best. And it kept emphasizing, do every day all that you can do that day and do each act in an efficient manner. Money would come to you, but it will not come to you on the altar of laziness. Yes, think. Yes, believe. But until you act right, the money might never come. So it's another day possibility series with PY, still reviewing the book The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D Wattles. It's available in the bookshop nearest to you or even on YouTube. It's a book I need you to listen to. If you get it on YouTube, read it again and again and again. Next week, we're going to conclude this book. I've been having fun at it. I hope you also have been having fun with me. So until I come your way next week, Thursday, by 8 p.m. West African time, thank you so much for joining me on this call. For those of you on Instagram, thank you, Shayo. Thank you, Uncle D. I say you, Dolapo Tukuru. Thank you so much. Everybody, Mighty Woman, thank you very much. Yetunde, thank you so much. Everybody on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Twitter, thank you so much. I look forward to being with you again next week, Thursday, 8 p.m. West African time. And don't ever forget it. If you can think it, you can be it, you can have it. Everything is possible. With you, there is no impossibility. See you next week. And until then, bye for now and have a wonderful, wonderful day. God bless you.